Okay. Hello, I'm meteorologist Bill Steffen. We missed out on most of the severe weather. There was a little bit of that in Michigan, but a lot of severe weather across Indiana and a good portion of Ohio. And down across Indiana, they had over 150,000 customers without power as there were uniform winds of anywhere from 40 to as high as I think I saw 71 miles an hour was the fastest gust I saw that was measured. Let's take a look at some of the storm reports. Got a map here for you, and this is kind of interesting. We plot a blue dot wherever there's a wind damage report, and you can see there's more blue over Indiana and western Ohio than there is white for the background there. 16 tornadoes on the day, including one in Michigan in the town of Fraser over in Macomb County. They had quite a storm there, not associated with the main line of storms, but that was an early batch of storms that went through over there. And one of the tornadoes out there toward Missouri and Illinois crossed the Mississippi River. They actually have video of it going right across the river like it wasn't there. But fortunately, it did not cause much in the way of damage. In Michigan, we had wind damage reports from Burr Oak, Tipton, Monroe, which is the southeasternmost county. Uh-oh, here comes a cat. Behave yourself. Just behave yourself here. Burr Oak, Tipton, Monroe, Niles, and Litchfield. But you can see really not much going on in Michigan. Right along the southern tier, there was a tornado watch for a while, and there was a severe thunderstorm watch from Allegan and Berry counties off toward the east. There were a number of wind gusts up around 40 to 50 miles an hour. But here comes the third cat. Boy, we're having a convention here today. All right, let's go on and take a look then at some of the rainfall totals. Up to 4 inches of rain fell in Macomb County. And they had some flooding issues there. Some of the streets picked up quite a bit of water. Most I saw in Michigan was 1.59 at Grand Junction. Now, these are not final totals because it was still raining when these reports were made. 1.14 at Fremont. Officially, Grand Rapids almost an inch, and we really needed it. We were running, 4.5 inches below average here since the first of the year. Fenville had almost an inch, and at my house, I had one of the lower readings there at 71 hundredths, but that was most appreciated. Got the rain to go underneath the trees, and when we get these little 2 and 3 hundredths of an inch rainfalls, it really doesn't affect those areas that are under the trees that much. Okay, let's move on here. Take a look at where the severe weather is going to be like today. East Coast, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New York, places that could get hit with severe thunderstorms. That's level 2. And the main threat will be wind damage again in the Thursday outlook. Marginal risk is in the dark green color, and there's one band that runs from eastern Arkansas up into New England, and another one out west that runs from Montana all the way to Lake Michigan. So there are quite a few spots here in Michigan and throughout the country that could see a thunder shower, though the thunder showers are not expected to be severe here in West Michigan. Okay, and then we move ahead to Friday, and we got a slight risk area from the Dakotas eastward through the upper peninsula of Michigan. Those storms may stay a little bit north of where we are, but there's certainly a chance they may get down here Friday night. So we'll have to keep an eye on a possible thunderstorm for Friday night. And those storms will be ushering in a huge heat wave. We don't get too many 5-day, 90-degree heat waves in the month of June. Normally those hold off until July, but we're really going to have one coming up starting with this weekend. Okay, we're going to take a moment here and take a look at the 66-hour rainfall map. Most of it's east of the Mississippi River. As you can see, not much going on in the west, but still a chance of a shower or thunderstorm here Thursday afternoon and then again Friday night. And then I think most all of Saturday is going to be dry. But if you got something planned for the weekend, wow, find a way to stay cool because it is really going to be a scorcher here Saturday, maybe 90 and maybe up into the low to mid 90s here Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. All right, we're going to take time out now and thank our sponsors, starting with Complete Care Concierge.
First of all, this is my cat. This is Ollie. He's in the spot where I usually put my computer to do these things, and I don't want to move him because look how happy he looks.
He does. I don't know what it is about computers. I have one cat that loves to walk across the computer, just back and forth and back and forth, sending my computer into Never Never Land, and I take 10 minutes trying to get everything back.
Mm-hmm. Well,
manages to close all my open windows.
If you have a white cat like Ollie, you definitely need Complete Care Concierge LLC, the fast, efficient, and affordable cleaning service serving all of West Michigan. They've got you covered, 616-264-1397. Pet hair and all your other problems, they can clean your resident, your business, whatever you need. And here's a word from our other sponsor.
When your home needs help, you might not know where to start. Why not ask Ace? We're always here to help with Ace Handyman Services. Our talented craftsmen handle everything from drywall and carpentry to doors and kitchens. We're the neighbors you trust to get the job done right. Let's get started. Book your handyman appointment today. Ace Handyman Services, bringing helpful to your home.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Well, we got a tropical update for you. The only hurricane tropical storm anywhere in the world is Eric. And 99% of the world is quiet, except for the coast of Mexico, where we are already into the letter E. And this will be followed by Flossie, which will be coming next to close out the month of June. But this is a major hurricane. And if you're down there in Oaxaca or the area to the southeast of Acapulco, this is going to be a hurricane that's going to produce some significant damage and some heavy rainfall and flooding. So again, coming on shore in the area of southwest Mexico there. And you can see over on the right side there, some places could get as much as a foot of rain from this. So really not a good situation there. This is all southwest of Mexico City. All right, let's move on here and take a look at our headlines. Chance of a shower or a thunderstorm. Best bet for that would be towards evening, but most all of the day is going to turn out to be dry. It will be cloudy in the morning and kind of dreary looking with some low clouds, but those should clear out eventually and allow us to see some sunshine in the afternoon. And then maybe a thunder shower coming down here towards evening, but that's only a maybe at this point. Pleasant temperatures on the day today. Before we get to the low 90s over the weekend, we'll be comfortably in the 70s here during the day today. Dry weekend coming up too, so any ring of fire thunderstorms look like they'll be staying north of us. Lakeshore forecast gets a little choppy there this afternoon. Waves pick up to about 1 to 3 feet. Winds will be out of the west, and most of the day at 10 to 15 knots. You can see the water temperatures there, which have been warming up. Hoffmaster making it up to 70, and down on the bottom, Reed's Lake in the afternoon before the storm came in did make it to 77. That may come down a couple of degrees here with the cooler temperatures ahead here for the day today. But the lake's certainly starting to warm up. Muir's dragging a bit there at 58 degrees. Taking a look right now at what we have for the longest day. We're at 6:03 for sunrise. 9:24 is our sunset, giving us 15 hours and 1 minute of daylight. The longest daylight is on Friday, but Friday only gets 3 seconds more daylight than today. So any one of the next 3 days, you might want to just keep an eye on the sun and watch it at sunrise or at the middle of the day, which, by the way, solar noon is at 1:47. So that's when the sun is highest in the sky. Again, a reminder to use your sunblock if you're fair-skinned. Average high temperature has climbed one more to 81 degrees. Moving on and taking a look at our forecast for today. 76 degrees the high. It will be slightly cooler at the lake. It may only be around 70 at the lakeshore much of the day. Look for an outside chance of a shower for the nighttime hours, maybe a flash or two of lightning here during the evening, but we'll certainly keep an eye on things. Humidity falls to 60%, and again, the wind west at 10 to 15 miles an hour. I'll look at some individual high temperatures across the area today. We're going for mid-70s in most inland areas today and about 70 for South Haven. You're not finding as much of a difference because the water temperatures are warming up, so when you get that warmer water there, that kind of minimizes the difference in temperatures between inland and the lake, which have been substantial here over the past week or so. On the right there is the temperatures for the Upper Peninsula, and if you're right along the Lake Superior shoreline, temperatures there low to mid 60s today. We move ahead to Friday and take a look and show you temperatures are starting to warm up a little bit. 82 for Grand Rapids, 83 at the regional airport in Holland with a southwest wind, 76 at South Haven downtown. Kalamazoo reaches 84, 85 in Chicago. And up in the UP, a very pleasant day. Temperatures will be in the low 70s here. And then the outlook here for the day on Saturday, that's when the heat really starts to build and move in. We're 91 in Grand Rapids, 81 at South Haven. Look at across the lake at Kenosha, Wisconsin there at 96 degrees. We could see a day or two in the mid 90s here early next week as well. So it's this is really going to be a hot stretch of weather here for us. We're not quite used to that yet. Up in the UP, it starts to warm up. Marquette at 81, and they may make it up in the area of 85 to 90 degrees up there, even that far north. All right, the 5-day forecast looks like this. Chance of a shower, thunder shower today and tonight is about 40%. 20% here on Friday, and then it's just plain hot for Saturday, Sunday, and on Monday. And it's not just hot during the daytime. We're going to have some warm nights ahead. It may not get lower than about the mid 70s here for several days early next week. The 8 to 14 day outlook is in. It still gives us temperatures that are warmer than average, with the cool out in the desert Southwest, where some moisture from Hurricane Eric will likely come up and give them a bit more cloud cover, at least, if not a random shower there. It really is cooking on the East Coast. They're going to get a lot of days up into the 90s to low 100s from Virginia, North Carolina northward. And then in terms of rainfall, we're close to the above average area. So the computers think we're going to be seeing several rounds of thunderstorms here as we close out the month of June and start the month of July. One more thing to pass along to you. Take a look at the next graphic here. They're starting to issue heat advisories in Alaska, not for temperatures that are over 100 degrees, but take a look at this. There's a heat advisory that's been issued up in Alaska for the Haines area and Klukwan. Heat advisory in effect from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. And what they expect is temperatures that could reach 80 degrees. Maybe it could reach 80. How can we survive? It's kind of different if you're in Michigan, but it does get warm in Alaska, especially in the interior of Alaska. Fairbanks has been as high as 99. I think Fort Yukon recorded the highest temperature ever in Alaska at 100. But they normally get a period during the summer where it can reach 90 in that interior area. It's actually been on the cool side there. I was looking at the Barrow Airport, which is the northernmost point in the United States, and they had temperatures only in the mid 40s yesterday for highs and mid 30s at night. And of course, the sun is out in the night because they're getting the midnight sun this time of year. So despite 24 hours of sunshine, they can't make it above the mid 40s. So that's a pretty interesting place to be up there. The Barrow Airport is again the northernmost spot in the entire United States. So Michelle, you've never been there, but you have been to Alaska.
Yes, Juneau and I think Anchorage on a school singing tour when I was young.
You've been there twice?
Yeah, and you've been there twice.
And I really enjoyed my time in Alaska. I've loved all of our trips. So we got the one coming up to the Canadian Rockies. That's coming up at the end of July here. So I'm looking forward to that.
So what is your go-to when it's 90 degrees and say you don't have air conditioning because it's the 1980s and you didn't have air conditioning? So what is your go-to to cool off?
Well, changing your altitude can make a difference by going down to the basement. Our basement is usually pretty cool.
Yeah, the basement was pretty
when I first moved in, we didn't have air conditioning here, and I didn't have air conditioning growing up. I mean, we just opened the windows.
I would say Richmond Pool was always good.
Richmond Pool is great.
And the slip and slide in the backyard, the most fun you'll ever have getting hurt.
Yes, I remember the slip and slide in the backyard. Yep.
Yes, we had the classic, nothing fancy, not like the one that ended with the alligator pool, just like a plain old yellow tarp.
Yeah.
And you
But
put
it's
the hose on
nice.
it and
It doesn't
lock.
take much to please a kid. I remember when I got all three of you girls and mom, whatever they wanted for Christmas for, I think it was $40.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was happy as can be. I mean, yeah, you girls could string Cheerios on a piece of dental floss and have a happy afternoon.
All right, let's see. So a lot of times after the show, we'll come back on into the software that we use to make the show and we'll just chat.
Mhm.
And one of the things that we were talking about yesterday was first class stamp prices because I guess they're going up next month.
Again, yep, to
And we thought
78 cents.
Yeah, we thought it might be interesting to chart those out over time, and this is what I found.
Okay, that's interesting. It's
Mhm.
kind of moving in an upward direction here.
Yep, and there's some reference points. So 1900, 2 cents, and then 1950, it's 3, and then it really takes off from
So
1980
I started on TV in here in Grand Rapids in 1974. So a stamp would have been 13 cents or even cheaper than that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I remember as a kid sending out postcards for a dime. And well, no, it was actually less than that. It was a letter for a dime. Wow.
I think the earliest I remember was in the low 20s, maybe 21,
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
Well,
Maybe I'm making that up.
even in the year 2000, that wasn't all that long ago, and
Mhm.
33 cents jumping to 78. Except the fact that go to other countries. I mean, go to Canada and see what it costs to send a postcard. Most areas have more expensive prices than what we have.
Mhm. So here it is against inflation. So the blue is the prices of the stamps, and then the orange is what the price would be if it had merely kept pace with inflation.
Okay, so we're running ahead of inflation here. It's kind of like the price of sports teams. When else is eclipsing the price of?
Yeah, so today, if it had kept pace with inflation when this started being tracked, which I think was in the early 1920s, the
Mhm.
price would be 41 cents. And we're
Really?
78 cents is what it's going to be next month.
Wow.
Or, yeah, and in 2024, 68 cents.
I'm not going to hazard a guess whether that will level off eventually, but I mean it's in the long run probably not sustainable to see increases like that. But
And then my
they've-
next question is, how have the availability of other services impacted that? Is it fair to say that the price should merely keep pace with inflation when there's a lot more other
Sure.
ways we have to communicate now? There's email that there wasn't before. So how do you measure as whether this is good or fair or keeping up? It's a really interesting question.
I mean, my post office is Comstock Park, and I think the people there are extremely competent and efficient at what they do. I had a cousin that worked for the post office for a while, and I thought that we had a great postal system.
Mhm.
So I mean, if it costs that much to run, I'm saying that's okay with me.
Mhm. Yeah, but here's the cold hard data. Has it kept pace with inflation? Yes, and more.
Mm-hmm. Sure, certainly has. But what is we ought to see a graph of, let's say, what the price of a car is. I remember buying a new car for like $3,000, and now it'd be like what, 50,000 is our average price of a car, some kind of vehicle. So
Mhm.
yeah, and so the post office needs vehicles, it needs gasoline, and that's
Mhm.
certainly gone up.
Mhm.
So yeah, all those ingredients come into the making the pie.
Mhm. What do you think, Ollie? Ollie wants to know if the treat budget is still good. It is.
Yeah, for sure. But no, I do appreciate the post office, and I'm not just saying that. I think that they are very efficient and do a great job.
What's something good you ever got in the mail?
Cookies from Aunt Josie when I was in college. Aunt Josie would bake me cookies and send them to me. And it was interesting because the package would come in the mail, and I lived in a house with 92 other guys. Okay. I was an Evans Scholar. We had a scholar house, kind of like a fraternity house. Okay. So word kind of got around that those packages that came from Aunt Josie had cookies in them. So I remember a knock on my door, and outside my door were like 90 Evans Scholars saying, "Can I have a cookie?" And I shared. The cookies were
Yeah.
gone in like 10
Good for
seconds.
her. What kind of cookies?
They were oatmeal raisin, which I liked, peanut butter, the 4 or 5, 6 different kinds.
Grandma Steffen made some really good almond cookies.
Yes, 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 yes. And always at holiday time, Christmas time.
I would
those
say the day my ACT score came in the mail, that was a really good day. I remember running back in when I opened the mailbox and saw that it was there.
I remember it was actually higher than my age. Well, maybe not quite, but close.
And then
Nice job.
by the time I took the LSAT, it had gone electronic and I got the results by email.
Oh, okay.
But
Interesting.
there was something really, really fun about the ACT coming in the mail.
Mm-hmm. Did you have to take it with a number 2 pencil? Remember that was the big
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
It
Yep.
has to be a number 2. You can't take this test with a hard pencil. It's got to be a number 2.
For the
Okay.
kids, they're all online today.
Yeah. It's well.
Okay. Who was on the first 5-cent stamp issued in 1847? He was the first Postmaster General of the United States, appointed by the Continental Congress in 1775. He signed the Declaration of Independence. He was not a U.S. president, but he was president of Pennsylvania.
I would think that would be Benjamin Franklin, who
Very good.
He invented the bifocal glasses, which I have on right now, the Franklin wood stove. He was the first one to do, I think, a daily almanac. He went to fly his kite to demonstrate electricity during a thunderstorm, which was not a good idea. He just invented the Franklin wood stove as another
Well, he
thing.
must not have demonstrated it too well, or it would have ended badly.
Well, yeah, that's true. And didn't he have like 10 kids or something, or wasn't he one of 10 kids?
I don't know.
Something like that. Yeah. The founding fathers were amazing people. They really were.
Who was on the first 10-cent stamp issued in 1847? There are at least 7 universities named after him and the District of Columbia.
Christopher Columbus.
Oh no, so it's not District of Columbia. It's
Well, his name was District? Bob District. Yes, there we go.
it's George Washington.
Oh, George Washington. Okay.
And today, if you have the mint condition of that stamp, it's worth $16,000, or you can buy it for just under $2,000 used.
No kidding. Wow.
Mhm.
And there were probably thousands of them circulating around. People had no idea that if they threw a few of those in the drawer, they could be rich someday.
George there got his name on lots of stuff. He's
He
on
did.
the dollar bill, the quarter, Washington, D.C., the universities, these stamps.
Yeah, and he's got a state named after him, and the
Yep, he's
national
all over the
capital.
place. Mhm.
Yeah.
This former UK Prime Minister turned 61 on June 19, 2025. He said his policy on cake was pro having it and pro eating it. No one ever accused him of wasting public funds on his hair care.
Well, let's see. I would think that might be Boris Yeltsin. No, that was Russian guy. Okay.
You were
Let's
half
see.
right.
It was, yeah. It was not Margaret Thatcher, because you have he in here instead of she, or less. I don't remember her changing her pronouns or anything. Let me see. Boris Johnson. How does that work? Yes, indeed.
There he is. And
And
why?
he
With the
was
hair.
a natural
Why?
blonde, wasn't he? Just it looks like you'd want to put a couple of bird eggs down there in the middle of it.
Right?
Now,
Well-
I'm not. I've had my hair look like that before too. I've done some stand-ups outside with the microphone on windy days, and I mean, there's just no way you can keep your hair together.
Well, happy birthday, Boris.
Okay, yay, Boris.
On June 19, 1978, this Jim Davis comic strip first appeared.
Oh, Garfield.
That's my
With his
Garfield.
pizza, yes.
Yep, that's my other kitty. That's Rosie. She's a
Yeah.
Garfield.
Well, yeah, Garfield's great. Garfield actually did some things for free for the Boy Scouts. So being a Boy Scout and on the board here for a while, we appreciated Garfield.
And the Celtic Festival, Tulip Time is not the only festival in Holland. Celtic Festival is on this weekend, June 20 and 21, at the Ottawa County Fairgrounds. They're having Highland Games. There are places where you can discover your Celtic roots, dancers, bands, goods, food. I think there's a Guinness experience, so lots of stuff going on this weekend there.
They ought to, if it's Scotland, have a little golf hole there, because that golf was their game. St. Andrews and everything. And I see how smart you are because you said Celtic instead of soft sea. Because
I might have practiced.
mhm. Biking with the purpose.
Okay, so John Scully, who sends us all the fabulous photos that we use to show us what's going on in Muskegon, is part of a team that makes peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for the homeless, and it's called Biking with Purpose. And then their group bikes them all over town where they're needed.
Oh, okay. Well, that's neat.
Yeah, so
Well,
there's their
yeah.
group hard at work doing their thing, and
Wow.
they're having a pancake breakfast on Saturday, July 5, and accepting donations for their project and what they do.
Oh, that's interesting. We should go there and do a little interview with them.
Yeah, I've got to get up to Michigan now that I'm learning all about it, doing these shows. So now I've got to get up and see what we're talking about. It's
It
been
would be
too
kind of a
long.
long commute for you. Yes, it would. Yeah. So that's part of 4th of July weekend. We'll have to mention that again. If you want to save the graphic or something like that, we can
Okay.
mention this again, like on the 3rd or 4th of July or something like that.
Sure. So we salute everyone doing that. That's awesome. And John, thank you for the photos.
Mm-hmm. Peanut butter is delicious. We have like 3 jars of
Yes.
it in there. I go through it.
Crunchy or smooth, though, is the question.
Red spotted, hard for me to read here. Red spotted purple,
Yeah.
something.
Red spotted purple. Yep, that's what we got. It's a butterfly.
Yeah, beautiful.
But you didn't
It's
answer the peanut butter question. Are you a crunchy or a smooth peanut butter
Oh,
person?
crunchy.
Me too, definitely.
I'm a crunchy peanut butter fan. I really am.
I wonder what most people
Peanut
prefer.
butter, I mean, creamy is fine. I'll eat. There's not that much of a distinction, but I prefer crunchy.
Mm.
How about Ollie? How do you get your
Ollie
cats
says
to look at the?
treats.
You got your cats looking right at the camera. Okay, my cat's facing the other way right now. It's just slightly off camera
He
here.
came and sat here. It's the first time he's done this that we've been doing this show, and I didn't want to move him.
Look at he just
Yawn.
yawned. He's getting bored.
Yeah,
The cat's
Yeah.
getting bored.
yeah, we're just going on, and it's treat time, right?
Yeah, there he goes.
Yeah, yeah.
Neat. Wow. Hey, you want to
Well,
say
there.
hi?
Now I can put it where it goes.
Here, let me see if I can turn there. You see
Oh,
a
there's
cat?
kitty.
There
Yeah.
you go. Say hi, kitty. No, I'd rather just groom myself. Okay, there you go.
Ollie will watch. So there's YouTube channels where someone will just put a camera on like a bird feeder, and they'll watch for the birds and the squirrels, and he'll sit and watch that.
Yeah, our cats spend a fair amount of time watching birds, and we had 2 squirrels, a bunny, and a whole bunch of birds. It was like a traffic jam at the bird feeders. And I've been putting some corn out too, and the squirrels will take an ear of corn and it will be gone in like 20 minutes. So they really attack that. But yeah, we got a couple of baby squirrels this year, so we've been enjoying them kind of dance around. Kind of oblivious to the German Shepherd next door, but there's a fence in between. Interesting.
So we always have a bump in our viewers and subscribers when there's weather going on in Michigan. So hello, all the new people. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. The information for the sponsors is in the comments, as well as the link to the merchandise store. So thank you for checking that out. Thank you so much for supporting us, and welcome to Bill, Steffen Weather. Please tell your friends and family where they can find Bill.
And happy birthday to Tom DeVette, who I saw at Bud and Stanley's today. We had a luncheon for the Channel 8 retirees. Craig James was there. We had a good time talking weather, and the storms were coming in and all that. And Tom was there having a little birthday luncheon there. So I said hi to him, and he says he watches the videos, and often
That's
until
nice.
the very end. So neat.
That's nice.
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you sign us off.
All right. I want to thank everybody for stopping by to my little corner of the internet today. Hope you have yourself a fantastic day, and get ready for the big heat wave coming Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and maybe Tuesday as well. Temperatures low to mid 90s here in West Michigan. Take care.